Okay. Bonjour, bonjour. Bienvenue. Welcome. Hello. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning for our second ever Canadian Circular Economy Summit. A very warm welcome to our 950 delegates that are joining us from across the country and internationally. We had enormous interest in this event, and we're very delighted for that. We more than doubled the number of participants and delegates since our first event in Toronto in 2023, and we've been a sold-out event now for over 4 weeks with over 200 people on the wait list. So thank you for joining us here today and for making the effort to be part of these conversations. And all of this despite an economic crisis and some political uncertainty, but it really is a testament to the circular economy as a growing model, an important model for addressing how we produce and we consume in Canada, our supply chains, and also opportunities for new partnerships. We had, as I mentioned, representation actually from right across Canada, so every province is represented here today. We also, yes, absolutely. We also have over 50 cities that have made an effort to participate in the summit from across Canada, but also from Europe and from the US as well. So some great international participation. About 10% of our delegates are thought leaders and experts from their own countries, from right across the world. So merci beaucoup for that effort. I wanted to also mention that we are delighted to bring this event to Montreal, the beautiful city of Montreal, with a diverse group of our Quebec partners. And as a national event, we are very happy to make this event a bilingual event and in Canada's 2 official languages. So to help make the event more accessible, we are going to be using the event app called Wordly, and it allows for simultaneous translation and allows you, as our delegates, to listen to the speakers and participate in your preferred language. So merci beaucoup à Récit Québec for sponsoring Wordly and the app. And we'll be using it for our various sessions and our workshops throughout the 2 days. And you can actually access Wordly very easily by clicking or scanning the QR code that you see on the screen in each of the workshop or session rooms, and then choosing the language of choice. And you can either follow along with headphones or read a text transcript on your phone. So use your mobile or your cell phone device or smartphone for that. And here's the QR code if you'd like to try that out right away. And you can select it in French or English, but also every other language, whether it's Finnish, Spanish, or other choices. So we really do hope that we've also tried to make it inclusive in a sense that our delegate badges are color-coded. So purple or dark is for bilingual, French and English. In blue for Francais and red for English. So if you see people wearing their delegate badges, you know, going up to them, what their language preferences are, and hopefully that helps facilitate some greater dialogue between our summit participants. So we really do hope that the summit provides you with fantastic opportunities for networking and for new connections, and across sectors, across geographies and organizations to really help accelerate the important work at hand and to advance a more circular economy. So my name is Paul Shorthouse. I am the Managing Director of Circular Economy Leadership Canada, or CELC. We've been working to connect Canada's circular economy ecosystem and community, and we also act as a bridge to similar networks around the world, and since we launched in 2018. We're made up of a network of networks, more than 75 organizations, and doing work in a number of important areas related to the critical enablers for the circular economy, including with the finance sector, with governments at all levels in Canada, and also with the construction sector and real estate. And we're also an initiative that falls under the broader umbrella of Generate Canada, which was formerly known as the Natural Step Canada, a non-for-profit charity in Canada. And we're one of what we call 5 solution spaces under that umbrella of Generate Canada, including the Canada Plastics Pact, the Energy Futures Lab, the Canadian Alliance for Net Zero Agri-Food, or CANZA, the Nature Investment Hub, and the work that we do is all aligned around a common vision for a strong and inclusive economy that thrives within nature's limits. So I'm very happy to be sharing the podium with colleague Joanne from Circular Innovation Council to introduce herself and share a little bit more.
Good morning tout le monde. Welcome, everyone. It's so good to see all of you, even those way in the back. My name is Joanne St. Godard, and I'm the Executive Director of the Circular Innovation Council. We were reimagined from 45 years ago as the Recycling Council of Ontario, and in 2020, CIC established itself as a new national organization, adopting a broader mandate to supporting Canada's transition to a circular economy, using our deep history in resource efficiency and waste reduction. We also convene and collaborate with over 400 private and public sector organizations that make up our diverse membership. With these partners, we incubate systems-based solutions between sectors and between supply chains, and of course, engage with all levels of government to support and develop the policies needed to bring it to scale. We were very, very blessed to have the generous support and expertise of many individuals and organizations that contributed to this summit, which of course is the key to success. And I'd like to take a moment to recognize them all. Starting with our most excellent consortium of Quebec-based organizers, CIDIEC and ETS, thank you Daniel and team, RRECQ, and Recyc Quebec. Hours of endless video calls, a lot of enthusiasm, so much support, time and energy and expertise, and it's really going to show in this event. And over 400 of you are from Quebec, so thank you very much for being with us. And of course, Natasha and her energetic team from the Ville de Montréal. Merci beaucoup, thank you very much. We are very blessed to have so much expertise and energy and activity happening around the circular economy. We also convened an advisory committee representing many leading organizations from right across Canada who provided guidance and input into our agenda as well. Thank you to all of them that you see on the screen here. They worked with us again for over a year trying to shape an agenda that was thought-provoking and action-orientated, and their work, we hope, will really shine through our agenda. We also want to acknowledge the partnership of the Canada Plastics Pact and the group from Fashion Takes Action, who've integrated their annual events into this summit, strengthening it with interesting agendas for their own respective audiences. And of course, with over 50 sponsors and partners whose support is critical to our ability to host such an event. Thank you very much. I just want to also take a very brief moment to recognize the contributions of the many members and ministries of the Government of Canada that made important contributions during the planning of this event, despite navigating the current situation that has unfortunately, for some, meant that they were unable to join us this week. But we continue to recognize the support that they have provided to advance the circular economy in Canada, and we look forward to continuing working with them under their new mandate. Our objectives for this event were many, but at the fore was to ensure an agenda that was solutions-oriented and outcomes-based, recognizing the important role that collaboration plays in advancing systems-based solutions. We leveraged our two incredible networks to bring together many diverse stakeholders and sectors. We also wanted to inspire by showcasing the many exciting circular economy innovations, case studies, business models, and partnerships that are being supported right across the country, and bring attention to the wide-ranging benefits they are already delivering. We wanted to highlight some of the many local innovations, which was pretty well made easy, as you will see if you take time to visit the Quebec Pavilion next door. As we crafted this summit agenda, we considered the times we find ourselves in, thinking of Canada's current biggest challenges: climate change, biodiversity loss, housing and food insecurity, affordability, economic resilience and competitiveness, as well as equity and inclusiveness. While many of these challenges appear daunting, we wanted to showcase the capacity of the circular economy to address them. And we hope that this week's agenda inspires you to continue to participate and advocate for it. And now I'd like to begin to welcome, oh, my apologies, we're not done.
We're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
The other core theme for the program that we've developed is around the critical enablers to the circular economy, which is really informed by the Circular Economy Action Plan that we launched in October of 2023 after the first summit, which really was designed by the input from the delegates that attended last summit, more than 350 of them. And so those critical enablers include information, collaboration, innovation, policy and procurement, and investment. So critical players in that space. We've been using this action plan to design sort of an impact and outcome-focused agenda, and you'll see many of the sessions and workshops are tagged with these different themes, so you can sort of select what sessions you want to attend accordingly. We've been working on this action plan since 2023 across our two organizations, advancing a number of priority initiatives, areas such as standardizing metrics and key indicators for the circular economy, launching a government-to-government policy incubator, working on with the finance sector on providing guidance to support circular economy investment, working with the construction sector on an innovation hub, and working through CIC has been working on leading campaigns like awareness campaigns, Circular Economy Month, scaling reuse and programs and pilots across the country, working on a share, reuse and repair hub, and also driving procurement activities across different areas like public sector buying groups. So the work has been continuing, and we really want to use this to guide the future work in Canada, and we will plan to make updates to this action plan after each summit and make pivots as needed. But really this work is not just about the work that CELC and CIC are doing, it's about all of you as well, and all the work that you've been doing towards key activities and actions within the action plan since 2023. So we did a little bit of a poll or a little bit of a survey before the event to the delegates to ask you what have you been working on within these critical enablers or these 30 priority actions of the action plan. We had 59 responses, and what we heard was that collaboration was huge in terms of the opportunities for work that's been happening in this space. About 75%, or 3 out of 4 of you, have been driving work around collaboration, including areas like pre-competitive collaboration models and platforms for knowledge sharing. About 63% have been doing work in the information space, so developing standardized definitions and indicators, working on case studies or examples and success stories of circular economy, including with the linkages to areas like climate change and nature loss and other angles to that degree. And about 61% in the innovation space, so working to drive innovation, supporting startups, working on accelerators, working with the small business community, undertaking applied research, developing and expanding programs that enable areas like product as a service, or sharing, or reuse, or repair, or manufacturing. So thank you for all the work you've been doing in this space, and we really hope this summit brings some greater momentum to all of your work as well. And it's only by working together that we can really unlock the full potential of the circular economy and bring about transformative change. And so most importantly, the last objective for the summit is to really engage with all of you through business to business transactions, through relationship building with governments and with other stakeholders to really drive the opportunities for a circular economy and provide you and arm you with some new relationships and concrete strategies to accelerate the transition towards a circular economy.
Thanks very much, everyone. We'll ask you to take your seats. We're going to move into the official keynote openings. Lots of time throughout the 2 days to meet lots of new friends. Okay. It is my pleasure to begin the official opening of the event and introduce our first keynote speaker. I've been practicing this for some time. Gana So1 Kevin Deere is from Kanawake Mohawk territory, and for the last 30 years involved in Mohawk language retention and revitalization. He's also a Faithkeeper at the Mohawk Trail Longhouse. In 2003, he was part of a planning committee of the historic event that involved horses coming across the land from British Columbia to Six Nations to help wipe out the tears of 7 generations and to heal the earth. In February 2016, he made a presentation to the Native Spirituality at the Nations World Interfaith Harmony Week in New York. And in August of 2016, He did a welcoming and healing ceremony for the World Forum on Theology and Liberation in Montreal. We are blessed to have him with us for this week, and I would like to welcome him to the stage to start our day with his keynote. Kevin.
If I could ask if we could all stand up to honor Mother Earth. When I say we-o, if you could all say, hey, we-o, 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 Guyane, 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 yo-ho! We-o, 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 woo-wee. Merci beaucoup. You can also down, please. Okay, so that song that I just sang is a ceremonial song. In my language, we talk about Osanigodanoza, which are the three sisters, the corn, the beans, and the squash. All of us are here right now are all happy. All of our needs are contented. Because our Mother, the Earth, gives us all of this unconditional love from the beginning of time. And the only thing that she asks in return is that we have an attitude of gratitude. Now there's water in here. Because when we're doing our sacred songs and dances, we understand water is life. So from there comes all of the trees and the plants, and then the animals eat that. We're given that sacred breath. Everything is held by natural law. Now this little boy drum sounds its voice, just like us when we sound our voice. So we are all participating in this sacred dance called life. And if you don't believe me, just look down at your chest, and what are you going to find? Your chest is expanding and contracting. Look at your heart muscle expanding and contracting. The snow comes, the snow goes, the snow comes, the snow goes. So now this little teaching that I'm sharing with you right now, if every human being understood this, there's no more war. There's no more murder, there's no more hatred, there's no more suicide, because you understand that you're already filled with this spirit, this love, and the only reason why we're here is to have this attitude of gratitude. So this, go up here now. So I'm just going to say a few words in my language. We call this the Thanksgiving Address, and it talks about that we acknowledge everything in this sacred circle of life and give them thanks. Honegi wahi tinizu ga izues tinizi dakkane raje agwegu seyo goda garide nona dasha deret onu gadjeru di tuniot nezi kigo ostawa kawi nedo wana duke yetini sta hudza dan seyo got kan haja gwegu no di watsa chat wini zarage tani atana jodakte nona dasu tugwaura anagon hod garunya gwegu seguna ne tunizi rudi tajini oni dan gonek kari wonotto jotku tayeda wadanu waradu. So what we say in our Thanksgiving addresses, we acknowledge everything. The corn, the beans, the squash, the waters, the deer, the moose, the caribou, corn, beans, squash, all of that stuff in this lower world. And we look up, even that's extended family. Our grandfather, the thunder beings, our elder brother, sun, grandmother, the moon. Then we go beyond that, the ancestor element to that source of life for all life that we're all connected to. So we do this before we start because it tells us, the people of the Longhouse, who are we? Where do we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going when we leave this place? Because none of us is getting out of here alive. So we got to know where we're going when we leave this place one day. And for us, everything is a circle. We begin on the other side of the sky and we're going back home. Anyway, so that's that Thanksgiving address that we talk about. And that's depicted here by another Faithkeeper, Oren Lyons. We have our own creation story that talks about who we are, where do we come from, and we always talk about Mother Earth. There was a time when there was so much conflict in this land, but there was a messenger that came and he established us as 5 nations. Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca, and the center is our capital, our central fire. The Treaty of Lancaster in 1744, this teaching influenced Benjamin Franklin. Anyway, so moving on, in the center you saw is the Great Tree of Peace. You see this flag of Montreal, and Montreal's 375th birthday, Denis Cordair worked with our people, and took some of the tenets of that great tree of peace and put it in the flag. On top of that tree of peace is an eagle with a white head. It's a bald eagle because it talks about the mind that we're supposed to carry. From that tree are there 4 white roots that go in the 4 directions. And if you have the right mindset, then you can follow those white roots and sit under the shade of that great tree. Now, where is that tree? It's in the epitome of our being because it's a mindset, it's a way of being. And that's depicted there in that wampum. Here's another one. It's called the circle wampum, what we call Gajokwan Hoxtad. It means what brings the people together, binding the people in the circle of love. And it looks like nothing really, just a circle, but I can go on and talk because it talks about everything, about our government, about the role of women, about the ceremonies, our language, all of that. Now, Einstein talks about logic, takes you from point A to point B, but your imagination will take you anywhere and everywhere. All this stuff that I'm telling you about right now, I didn't grow up with it. I had to learn this later. All I knew was Judeo-Christian concepts, beliefs, altar boy, and all that stuff. I even wanted to be a priest. Anyway, I rejected all of that because I asked some of the older guys, I said, what happens to us when we die? They said, well, you're dead. I said, well, what happens to this idea about heaven and hell? They said, that's all BS. When you die, there's nothing. So I believed that for a while. Anyway, my grandpa dies. And at that time, I was afraid of death. I'd never wanted to be around death. But he comes to me in a dream. So many dreams telling me all kind of stuff. And I asked my grandpa, I said, how do we communicate? You're supposed to be dead. He said, there's no such thing as that. I'm going to tell you how it is. He says, the minute we die, he says, we go into that giant ancestral realm, the Great Sky World Council. And in the center of that council is the earth as a little drop. And he says, we're always intervening from spirit forever. So as a little Christian boy, I could relate to that. Well, that's the saints, that's the angels, that's all of that stuff that helps us to comprehend what is beyond, because it's a great mystery. Anyway, the circle wampum, and he says, we're in council forever. So now, imagine we all passed on, now we're in the ancestor realm. We're part of that sacred energy that's going to interact now with this earth. What are we going to be trying to do? Well, what anybody wants to do, we want things to always be like Mother Earth, the perpetual regeneration of life that always has to be involved with this relationship between the upper world, sun, moon, stars, and this lower physical world, Mother Earth, so that life could go on. Anyways, I was inspired by that, and I had this painting done. So now what I'm going to talk about is that we're in a time now where when you look at that circle wampum, if I just go back here for a minute, that circle wampum, when this all came together, was based on fear because there was a lot of war. What was going on in the old country was happening here. And then a messenger came and he fortified us to be of one mind, one body, one heart. And that's how we were. And as I said, some of these teachings inspired Benjamin Franklin. But it says there would come a time in prophecy that once we fortified and we understood what was happening, then we would open up. Now those strings, instead of them being on the inside, imagine them now, they're going to be on the outside. And what we're doing now is we're saying that, look, we have to look into a brighter future. We have to open up and we have to share this indigenous wisdom with our brothers and sisters that are in this treaty relationship with us based on peace, friendship, and respect between the canoe and the big ship with sails, because we have a responsibility to those future generations that are coming, that when they will be born, they will inherit a happy, safe, clean, beautiful, peaceful, loving home. That's our responsibility to them, and we can't let them down. When I started to work on my healing, my greatest healer was the Mother Earth, not a psychotherapist or a psychologist. I went in vision quest. Give up food, give up water, give up your wife, give up your gadgets. Go sit on the bosom of your mother and open yourself up to the cosmic intelligence. And when I started to do that, I asked my mother, I said, how can you help me? How can you heal me? When I put my tobacco down, the first thing she said was, take this soil, which is the extension of my body, and wrap yourself with it. I did that, and I imagined myself going into the womb of my mother in the future, but I'd be dead. Here I'm experiencing it while I'm alive. I thought, wow, that's pretty great. But then self-doubt came and said, oh, no, that's not real. You just made it up. I put my tobacco down again. I said, Ista, which means mother. So how can you help me again? She says, okay, get up and count your footsteps. I count my footsteps, and when I came to that number, it was 36, and that was my birth age. I got down and I kissed my mother. Now, the next part of that, it says, go to your earliest recollection as a child. And all of the healing and stuff that happened to you when you were violated or sexual abuse or all that stuff that happened, Give it up. And who are you going to give it up? Your first mother. So when I was going through that and crying and snot and slobber and all of that, something landed on my shoulder, and I said, heck, it better not be a bird shitting on me, because the way I feel right now, and if that happens, I ain't going to feel good. Then it happens again. Finally, it happened the third time. And I said, I got to investigate where was this. So as I'm crying and going through all this, when I made my lodge, I inadvertently cut a vine. And we do it in the early springtime, beginning of May, and it started to drip. Just at the right time when I was crying and going through that, and that was a validation from my mother, the earth, saying, you know what, it's okay, my son, I validate you. And when I came out of that vision quest, I was totally transformed and healed, and who healed me was the Mother Earth. I'm going to end with this one final thing. When we talk about this Earth Mother, for us as Indigenous people, it's not just flowery words. I went through an experience, and I'll end with this, that this Earth, our common collective mother, even has feelings. Now, you don't hear that too much. So now, when we look at where we are, hopefully we'll be inspired to begin to think differently about our relationship with our mother, how we have to love her and work in conjunction with her. And a lot of the stuff I'm hearing about how we're trying to get out of this predicament that we're in, I'm really, how would I say, inspired by some of the things, because I just heard about this organization just not too long ago. Anyway, with that, thank you very much. It's nice to see you all. We're all seemingly still in good mind, good health, good spirit, and we give thanks to that source of life for all, and that we've been blessed to be here today. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Y'all, merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Kevin, for grounding us in what's really important here to really kick off the summit on a good note. So appreciate the warm message. I would now also like to invite Monsieur Benoit Charette, who is le Ministre de l'Environnement, de la Lutte contre les changements climatiques et de la Faune et des Parcs avec le gouvernement du Québec. Merci, Ministre.
Bonjour tout le monde, merci Paul. Un réel plaisir d'être avec vous ce matin. Franchement, de voir une aussi belle salle pour un sujet aussi important, c'est drôlement réconfortant et encourageant pour la suite des choses. Sans nommer toutes les personnes qui sont avec nous et qui prendront la parole dans les prochains instants, vous allez me permettre de saluer la présence de Luc Rabouin, maire du Plateau, mais également chef de projet Montréal. Et je tenais à saluer sa présence parce que la Ville de Montréal fait effectivement œuvre de leader sur bon nombre d'enjeux au niveau environnemental, notamment au niveau de l'économie circulaire avec de belles ambitions. Donc, Luc, merci d'être avec nous. Vous allez me permettre également de saluer, et vous allez avoir l'immense plaisir de l'entendre aussi dans quelques instants, la présidente, la PDG de Recyc Québec, Emmanuel Géhin, et pour le gouvernement du Québec, Recyc Québec est un partenaire de premier plan. Donc, merci également, Emmanuel, et naturellement d'autres personnes qui prendront la parole sous peu. Et très heureux de vous accueillir ici sur le côté de Montréal. Je comprends que c'est une deuxième édition d'une première qui a eu lieu sur le côté de Toronto en 2023, qui a fait déjà sa marque avec un beau succès. De vous voir récidiver à Montréal, c'est d'autant plus agréable. Et pour le gouvernement du Québec, ce sont des enjeux qui sont aussi très importants. Nous avons eu l'occasion de publier il y a peu de temps notre stratégie gouvernementale en matière de développement durable pour justement marquer le pas sur les questions autant d'économie circulaire, d'économie verte. Et l'année dernière, à pareille date ou à peu près en avril dernier, c'est notre feuille de route sur l'économie circulaire qui a été publiée. Je pense, sans fausse modestie, c'était un document qui a été bien reçu et qui a été cité parce qu'une forme de première au niveau de l'Amérique du Nord. Et pourquoi il était pour nous un jalon important, c'est qu'elle engageait 24 ministères, organismes publics aussi, à travers une série de mesures précises pour guider l'action du gouvernement du Québec à travers des secteurs prioritaires dont vous aurez l'occasion de parler au cours des prochaines séances, des prochaines journées. Le bioalimentaire au Québec, c'est une économie qui est fondamentale. La construction, On en parle régulièrement avec les gens de Recyc Québec. On a des gros défis au niveau de tout ce qui est construction, démolition, rénovation. Ça génère énormément de matières qui peuvent certainement être mieux valorisées qu'elles ne le sont maintenant. Donc, ça a été ciblé comme secteur prioritaire. Le manufacturier également, les mines, l'énergie. Bref, une feuille de route qui va guider notre action avec des objectifs bien précis. Mais aujourd'hui, très heureux de vous parler de l'étape qui suit la présentation de cette feuille de route. Au départ, ça a été un travail colossal de mobilisation au sein des ministères et organismes. Mais une stratégie, une feuille de route, c'est bien, mais c'est le plan d'action qui est surtout attendu, le plan de mise en œuvre, et c'est ce qu'on vient confirmer aujourd'hui comme dévoilement, avec là aussi la mobilisation de plusieurs ministères, et ça vient incarner essentiellement notre vision collective en matière d'un Québec plus circulaire, plus innovant, plus résilient face aux différents défis environnementaux. Et Paul en faisait mention d'entrée de jeu tout à l'heure. On vit une conjoncture qui est particulière, on va le dire comme ça de façon polie. Autant notre économie est quelque peu bouleversée, autant la conjoncture mondiale, sinon géopolitique, est également bouleversée. Je pense que c'est la meilleure façon de le dire, mais il ne faut pas oublier les actions qui doivent continuer d'avancer, les actions que l'on doit continuer de faire cheminer. Et au niveau de l'économie circulaire, là, c'est un travail qui est fondamental. Donc, cette fois-ci, à travers le plan de mise en œuvre, on parle de 135 actions. Et dans le cas de l'économie circulaire, ce qui est fascinant, c'est que oui, on a à gérer ultimement de la matière, mais on peut se prendre tôt dans la démarche de façon à agir en amont, que ce soit au niveau de l'optimisation des opérations elles-mêmes, l'approvisionnement, au niveau de la conception. Vous aurez sans doute l'occasion d'en discuter au cours des prochains jours, mais le Québec est actuellement à intégrer une réforme d'une grande importance au niveau, oui, de l'économie circulaire, mais à travers une modernisation de la collecte sélective, à travers une modernisation aussi de ces systèmes de consignes, en élargissant la responsabilité des producteurs. Donc, ce sont tous des concepts qui vous sont chers, mais qui guident aussi notre action. Et bien confiant qu'à travers cette mobilisation là, des différents ministères, on puisse arriver à faire cheminer là, ces chantiers d'une grande importance. C'est naturellement bon, et vous en êtes convaincus, pour notre environnement. Mais ce qu'on doit réitérer aussi, c'est que c'est fondamental au niveau de l'économie elle-même. Au niveau du plan de mise en œuvre, on évalue le potentiel économique là, à tout près de 800 millions de dollars. Donc, oui, c'est possible aussi de faire valoir les avantages économiques à travers ces différentes initiatives qui, autrement, seraient considérées environnementales, mais c'est une très, très belle conciliation, autant de l'économie et de l'environnement. Enfin, vous allez me permettre de saluer les gens qui nous permettent cette belle rencontre, ces beaux échanges. Naturellement, Leadership pour l'économie circulaire au Canada, mais également le Conseil de l'innovation circulaire qui sont au quotidien engagés, mais responsables de l'événement. Et je ne peux pas faire autrement que de saluer aussi la présence des représentants du ministère de l'Environnement. Ça fait 6 ans pour ma part que j'ai le plaisir d'agir en titre et le privilège d'agir en tant que ministre responsable de ces dossiers. Et au quotidien, le ministère fait un travail formidable. C'est très vaste, l'environnement, vous le savez, mais avec une équipe qui est très dédiée. Il y a quelques kiosques que vous aurez la possibilité de visiter au cours des prochaines heures, des prochains jours. Je vous invite à faire un petit arrêt à celui du ministère de l'Environnement. Et les équipes seront très heureuses de vous y rencontrer. Donc, un bon sommet. Merci pour votre engagement au quotidien. Merci pour votre présence à Montréal et en espérant que votre séjour soit le plus agréable possible. Merci tout le monde.
Merci. Thank you, Minister, not only for taking the time to be with us today and giving some words from the government to open our summit, but also for the incredible support and the growing, fabulous circular economy community that's been supported here. We hope you continue to do so. Now I'd like to call on Mr. Luc Rabouin, a member of Executive Committee responsible for Economic Development and Higher Education, and the Maire of Plateau-Mont-Royal. at the City of Montreal. Luc is a Montreal manager and elected official guided by the values of social development, the environment, and participatory democracy. He enters politics not out of personal ambition, but as a means of effecting change. He became Mayor of Plateau-Mont-Royal Bureau in October of 2019 and is a member of the city's executive committee responsible for economic development. He also holds a master's degree in political science from the University of Montreal, and he's published a book called Democratizing the City. Look.
Merci. Je ne pensais pas que j'allais avoir toute ma biographie. Bonjour, Monsieur le Ministre, Madame la PDG, Danielle Normandin du CIRIEC. Je veux saluer ma collègue Marie-André Mauger, qui est aussi élue à la Ville de Montréal, responsable de l'environnement et de la transition écologique. Et je veux quand même aussi saluer notre championne à la Ville de Montréal, Natacha Beauchesne, qui travaille au service de développement économique de la Ville. C'est notre héroïne à tous. Donc, c'est évidemment un grand plaisir pour moi d'être ici avec vous ce matin. Je veux vous souhaiter la bienvenue au nom de la Ville de Montréal. Welcome to Montreal. Pour cette deuxième édition du Sommet canadien de l'économie circulaire, je veux remercier les organisateurs d'avoir accepté notre invitation de venir à Montréal. On est très fiers de vous accueillir ici. Il y a plus de 1000 personnes de plus de 50 villes d'Amérique et d'Europe qui sont ici pour échanger et avancer avec nous pour la transformation de notre économie vers une économie plus circulaire. Donc, recevoir ce sommet si important ici dans notre métropole, c'est pour nous une reconnaissance de l'ambition et du travail que nous avons entrepris à Montréal pour intégrer l'économie circulaire au cœur de nos priorités municipales. La Ville a fait le choix clair d'intégrer l'économie circulaire au cœur de sa transition écologique parce que la circularité, ça nous permet de dérisquer notre prospérité économique en la dissociant de l'épuisement des ressources naturelles. C'est nécessaire pour répondre à l'urgence écologique, à l'urgence climatique. Et en 2024, la Ville de Montréal, on est devenue l'une des premières grandes villes à nous doter d'une feuille de route en économie circulaire qui est accompagnée d'un indice de circularité. Cet indice, cette analyse qu'on a faite de notre économie a révélé que seulement 3 % des ressources consommées annuellement à Montréal sont réintroduites dans l'économie. C'est vous dire le défi auquel on fait face. Ce chiffre nous appelle à l'ambition et c'est pourquoi nous avons décidé d'avoir un objectif clair et ambitieux de doubler ce taux. Donc, on veut passer à 6 % d'ici 2030 et atteindre 17 % d'ici 2050. Pour y arriver, notre feuille de route repose sur 4 grandes orientations, 13 priorités stratégiques, 5 chaînes de valeur qui sont dans les mêmes créneaux que ce que le ministre a mentionné, l'agroalimentaire, la construction, les textiles, les plastiques et la mobilité. In Montreal, we believe that ecological transition and economic prosperity go hand in hand. That's why it made perfect sense for the Circular Economy Roadmap to be managed by the Economic Development Team in close collaboration with the Environment Department and all other municipal sectors. Our commitment to the circular economy is not just a vision, it's already becoming reality. We are taking concrete steps to transform how we produce, consume, and manage resources in our city. Here are some examples. The Synergie Montréal program with our partner PME Montréal has helped over 2,300 businesses and diverted more than 5,000 of tons of material from landfills. We recently announced a $900,000 investment to expand this program and another $600,000 to launch the Campus d'Innovation Espace Circulaire here in Montreal. Another strong move, we partner with Architects Without Borders, Quebec, to recover building materials from municipal construction projects. These are materials that will otherwise have been wasted. And of course, another good example is the Frédéric Back Park, which some of you will visit this week. It's a flagship example of circular economy here in Montreal. 300,000 of tons of material were reused in the park's transformation from a former landfill to an urban ecological space. These are just some of the first steps. In 2025, we will launch our first 3-year action plan backed with a $7 million budget. This plan includes 20 strategic actions, the commitment of more than 10 municipal departments involved with us in the transformation, and a leverage effect of more than $100 million in public investment. Mais on sait qu'on ne va pas y arriver tout seul, la Ville de Montréal, pour cette transformation. C'est pourquoi on a créé des partenariats solides avec notre écosystème d'entreprises locales. Par exemple, on travaille avec Fonds d'action et Recycle Québec dans le cadre du Fonds pour l'économie circulaire, qui est le premier fonds d'investissement privé dédié totalement à l'économie circulaire qui soutient des initiatives dans le secteur. Dans les prochains jours, on lance un nouvel appel à projet à la Ville, un appel à projet d'entrepreneuriat circulaire et climatique avec un budget d'1,2 million de dollars sur 2 ans pour soutenir des initiatives qui vont nous permettre d'accélérer la transformation. On va également initier le prix de la circularité de Montréal, dont la première édition aura lieu l'an prochain. Le prix récompensera les organisations locales qui mettent en œuvre des solutions circulaires efficaces et innovantes dans notre métropole. Finalement, on a mis en place une structure de gouvernance collaborative pour coordonner nos efforts, harmoniser les actions et maximiser l'impact collectif. Lors d'un événement, il y avait une conférencière qui nous avait dit « Planning is crucial, implementing is divine ». Donc, on veut travailler fort avec une structure de gouvernance pour s'assurer qu'on met en place notre plan d'action. Nous sommes persuadés que l'économie circulaire n'est pas seulement une tendance politique, c'est une voie vers un avenir plus durable, plus résilient, plus prospère. Il s'agit de créer de la valeur à l'échelle locale, de bien gérer les risques, de renforcer nos communautés tout en respectant l'environnement. En rassemblant les villes, les entreprises, les scientifiques, la population autour de cette vision commune, on envoie un message fort. Le changement n'est pas seulement possible, il est déjà commencé. Merci à tous et toutes pour votre engagement, pour vos idées, pour votre présence. Je vous souhaite un sommet inspirant, porteur et mobilisateur et je vous souhaite aussi de vous garder un peu de temps pour profiter de ce que la Ville de Montréal a à vous offrir en termes de gastronomie, de vie nocturne et d'espaces publics de grande qualité. Donc, j'espère que vous allez avoir un peu de temps pour vous promener un peu et découvrir notre belle Ville de Montréal. Merci d'être présent. Bon événement.
Merci beaucoup, Luc. To implement is divine, and I would agree. Great to see that the roadmap that the City of Montreal has published is being backed by investments and effort through collaboration, so that's wonderful to hear. Next up, we are very happy to be able to welcome Emmanuelle Guéhin, who is the Présidente et Directrice Générale de Recycle Québec. Emmanuelle has been working on environmental protection issues for the last 20 years with a focus on real-world solutions and is aiming to make Recycle Québec a leader and a leading player in Quebec transitioning to the green and circular economy. So Emmanuelle, bienvenue.
Bonjour à tous. Bonjour, chers distingués invités. Merci aux organisateurs vraiment d'avoir choisi Montréal encore une fois pour tenir cet événement incroyable. C'est incroyable parce que de voir se réunir autant de gens autour des enjeux d'économie circulaire, du développement de cette nouvelle démarche, nouvelle plus ou moins parce qu'on est quand même dans ce mouvement-là depuis un certain temps, c'est très exaltant, c'est vraiment tellement encourageant de voir qu'on est tous embarqués dans ce train de l'économie circulaire. Alors, bien sûr, je suis ravie d'être là ce matin pour donner le coup d'envoi de ce grand rendez-vous canadien pour l'économie circulaire. Je voulais dire quelques mots sur Recycle Québec. Probablement, beaucoup d'entre vous ne savent pas qui on est. On est une société d'État, donc qui est notamment le fer de lance dans la mise en œuvre de l'économie circulaire au Québec. Nous fondons nos actions sur la hiérarchie des 3 RV, la réduction à la source, le réemploi, le recyclage, la valorisation. Et l'économie circulaire nous amène à nous concentrer sur un 4e R, repenser nos façons de faire. C'est ce que nous faisons avec l'économie circulaire. Ça fait déjà 10 ans que nous avons l'économie circulaire au cœur de notre mission. Et nous sommes reconnus aussi au Québec pour être un leader de cette transition. En période d'incertitude, nous avons l'opportunité de parler d'une seule voix pour transformer notre économie, pour la rendre à la fois plus verte, plus résiliente, plus performante et responsable. Nous devons penser à long terme, mais agir dès aujourd'hui pour accélérer collectivement notre transition vers une réelle économie circulaire partout au Canada. Accueillir le sommet chez nous est une occasion de vous montrer à tous que le Québec a le pied sur l'accélérateur. Nous espérons vous inspirer et vous entraîner avec nous. En plus de se distinguer pour avoir adopté la première feuille de route gouvernementale économie circulaire, le ministre en a parlé tout à l'heure, ainsi que, évidemment, du plan d'action qui y est lié, le Québec est considéré comme un chef de file de l'économie circulaire au Canada. Tous les acteurs québécois attirent l'attention par leur approche axée sur la collaboration, la consultation, la recherche et le développement, le soutien financier, ainsi que la mise en œuvre d'initiatives et de partenariats mobilisateurs. Puis cette collaboration, je remercie Paul de l'avoir instaurée déjà au début de l'événement avec cette belle mise en contact de tous et chacun dans la salle ce matin. Recyc Québec joue un rôle crucial de bougie d'allumage et de facilitateur pour multiplier les actions partout dans la province. Depuis 4 ans, nous avons soutenu financièrement près de 500 projets novateurs et visionnaires qui ont eu un impact direct et nous sommes fiers de faire une différence. Nous avons concrétisé beaucoup de partenariats, M. Rabouin en a parlé tout à l'heure, aussi bien financiers que collaboratifs pour des projets de visibilité ou de bougies d'allumage, comme je le disais. Nous avons accompagné, par exemple, le secteur de l'hébergement touristique en collaboration avec le ministère du Tourisme. On a fait une très belle campagne avec plusieurs sites hôteliers pour les amener à faire connaître leur approche de circulaire. Toutes leurs initiatives ont émergé, sont diffusées via la campagne Voyager autrement que je vous invite à regarder sur les réseaux sociaux. Nous avons aussi lancé le défi Innovation circulaire avec un fonds de capital de risque qui s'appelle Cycle Momentum pour soutenir l'intégration de la circularité au sein de jeunes pousses, spécifiquement dans les technologies de la transition énergétique. Tout ce qui est panneaux solaires en fin de vie, vraiment repenser la façon dont on peut les concevoir pour qu'en fin de vie, ces panneaux soient réintégrés. La même chose pour les éoliennes et pour les batteries de véhicules électriques. Nous soutenons enfin financièrement une vingtaine de symbioses industrielles partout sur le territoire. Je pense qu'on en a probablement aujourd'hui un grand nombre qui sont représentants aujourd'hui. Et aussi, nous sommes aussi partenaires de l'ADEME, qui est notre pendant français, qui sont également aujourd'hui parmi nous. Je les salue. Bref, l'économie circulaire est en action avec nous aux 4 coins de la province. Je vous invite d'ailleurs à venir constater vous-même notre kiosque qui est juste à côté, dont le ministre a parlé également, l'Espace Québec. J'en profite pour souligner, moi aussi, l'incroyable travail de l'équipe de Recyc Québec qui a travaillé d'arrache-pied pour faire de cet événement un succès avec les organisateurs, la Ville de Montréal et Daniel aussi qui est là, qui parle tout à l'heure. Alors, je ne sais pas s'ils sont dans la salle. Les gens de Recyc Québec, est-ce que vous voulez vous lever pour qu'on puisse vous repérer? Ça va être des gens qui vont être des repères pour vous au fur et à mesure. Ils sont ici. Merci, gang. Ils ont fait un travail extraordinaire. Merci, Sylvie, ici, qui se lève. Si vous avez des questions, on le disait, on est vraiment en mode collaboratif. Si on peut vous inspirer pour vous aider à aller plus loin, n'hésitez pas à aller consulter toute notre équipe. Ça va nous faire plaisir de partager notre expertise. C'est un format aujourd'hui des assises qui sont un peu différents. Le kiosque qu'on vous propose à côté, nous, c'est un événement qu'on fait depuis plusieurs années qui réunit environ de 600-700 personnes. Donc, on se joint aujourd'hui au sommet canadien pour faire notre activité. Vous pourrez donc découvrir dans le kiosque qu'on a à côté l'économie circulaire sous les 5 sens. Donc, c'est vraiment une approche très créative que toute l'équipe a mis sur pied. Donc, je le souligne encore. Donc, je vais terminer en invitant Daniel Normandin à prendre la parole. Il est directeur et cofondateur du Centre d'études de recherche intersectorielle en économie circulaire, un fidèle partenaire, collaborateur et ami. Alors, Daniel, merci beaucoup.
impressive. Honestly, such a crowd is a dream come true for me. Chers dignitaires, chers délégués, chers collègues, chers partenaires CIC, Generate Canada, I'm extremely honored to participate in the opening plenary of this very successful second edition of the Canadian Circular Economy Summit. Au cours des 10 dernières années, le Québec a connu une progression importante dans sa transition vers l'économie circulaire. Mais sa trajectoire avait débuté bien avant 10 ans, se concentrant sur des stratégies de circularité plus spécifiques. On pense à Cascade, qui a vu le jour en 1964, qui est un pionnier du recyclage du papier et du carton. Recycle Québec, qui a vu le jour en 1990, qui se concentrait à l'époque sur la collecte sélective et le recyclage, mais qui a additionné l'économie circulaire depuis une dizaine d'années. Le Centre de transfert technologique en écologie industrielle, le CTTEI, fondé en 1999, axé sur les synergies industrielles, pour ne nommer que ceux-là. 2014 marked a major milestone for the circular economy with the inception of the EDEC Institute on the University of Montreal campus, the first Canadian university research unit to focus on the circular economy and all its strategies. The Institute is a source of a first collective book and the first scientific publications in Quebec and even Canada on the subject. Il y a 10 ans, en 2015, l'Institut EDEC a également initié la mise sur pied du pôle de concertation québécois en économie circulaire. C'est un regroupement volontaire. À l'époque, c'était une quinzaine d'organisations, de parties prenantes clés, réunissant des acteurs de la recherche, de la finance, des associations d'entreprises, des syndicats, des acteurs de l'économie sociale, de l'environnement, des organismes municipaux et des représentants de gouvernement. Le pôle est toujours aujourd'hui un acteur important de la transition québécoise avec un peu plus d'une vingtaine d'organisations représentées. In 2020, the École de technologie supérieure, ETS, founded the Centre d'études et de recherche intersectorielle en économie circulaire, le CERIEC. Thanks to a major financial contribution from Desjardins and additional funding from the Quebec government, CERIEC was able to begin implementing a major circular economy innovation program in the form of an ecosystem of sector-based accelerator labs. Basé sur une approche de laboratoire vivant, les labs d'accélération réunissent les acteurs clés d'une chaîne de valeur associée à un secteur donné, avec des chercheurs issus de différentes disciplines. Ensemble, ils co-créent des solutions pour circulariser le secteur en question de manière systémique. Ce sont ainsi des centaines de parties prenantes clés et de chercheurs qui contribuent à rendre plus circulaires et plus durables les secteurs de la construction, des systèmes alimentaires et des textiles. Et ça ne s'arrêtera pas là, évidemment, parce que, in fine, en fait, tous les secteurs devront être investis. In 2022, thanks to the Fonds de recherche du Québec, CERIEC and other university partners launched the Réseau de recherche en économie circulaire du Québec, or RECQ. En français, on l'appelle REC, but in English it doesn't sound great. Today, the network accounts over 330 researchers members from 65 different disciplines, making it the world's largest circular economy research network, according to the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. 20 plus of the network researchers come from universities outside Quebec and outside Canada. This circular economy research and innovation ecosystem is a distinctive feature of Quebec, but its doors are wide open to collaboration both nationally and internationally. In the current geopolitical context, it's imperative for Canada to transform its economy to make it more competitive, resilient, and sustainable. And that's exactly what the circular economy offers. Plusieurs législations et territoires du Québec ont ainsi élaboré des feuilles de route pour y parvenir. On a entendu parler de la feuille de route du gouvernement du Québec, mais c'est également le cas donc de la Ville de Montréal, on l'a mentionné également, de la communauté métropolitaine de Québec, des régions de la Montérégie et des Laurentides, tandis que d'autres sont en cheminement ici même au Québec. Le réseau de recherche en économie circulaire a également développé une feuille de route à l'attention de l'ensemble de la société québécoise, incluant une vision 2050 d'un Québec plus circulaire. Other roadmaps have also emerged across Canada in recent years, but for Canada as a whole, To accelerate its transition to the circular economy, it's important to develop a shared vision of the transition. I, therefore, invite the federal government to rapidly co-create its own roadmap in collaboration with key stakeholders across Canada and to make available all the means to implement it. This is not optional. It's a matter of survival for the Canadian economy. L'Union européenne a annoncé il y a un an la mise en œuvre d'un passeport numérique de produits, obligatoire pour plus de 18 catégories de produits fabriqués ou importés sur le territoire européen. Ce passeport renfermera des données clés sur la performance environnementale et circulaire des produits assujettis. La Commission européenne considère qu'il s'agit là une des plus importantes, sinon la plus importante initiative en matière de circularité depuis le lancement de son premier plan d'action d'économie circulaire en 2015. Plusieurs regroupements d'entreprises européennes s'y préparent depuis déjà plusieurs années. At a time when Canada wants to intensify its trade ties, particularly with Europe, without a digital passport for our export products, it's a safe bet that it will be blocked at the border as early as 2027. So we need to act quickly. The good news is that Canada has all the forces in place to achieve this, as demonstrated by the number and the diversity of delegates present at this present summit. All we need is a game plan, and my colleague from CIC and Generate Canada are working on it, and the support of our governments. Sur ce, je vous remercie pour votre attention. Je vous souhaite à tous et toutes le plus productif et mobilisateur des événements. Merci.
Merci. Thank you, Danielle, for being here and supporting the summit as you have, and most importantly, for the unique innovations that you have co-created in Quebec and to share them with the rest of Canada. We appreciate that. We've got a few housekeeping things we need to go over before we release you into the summit sessions. But I just want to make mention that we have actually chosen the Fairmont not because it's beautiful and its location is spectacular, but because they actually responded to many of our procurement requirements that meet our objectives for a circular economy. So I'm just going to tell you about a few of them. First, they agreed to actually track the impact of this entire event from start to finish. And that includes all of your travel. That's why we asked you where you came from and how you got here. It will also be tracking the menu, where the food came from, how it got transported, how it's managed at end of life, how much of it is recovered and is distributed as edible options through persons of need throughout the city as well. And it will all be measured through an interesting AI monitor called Orbisc. For those of you who want to know more about that, we're happy to tell you about it. We're also going to be tracking the energy use and the water use of managing the linens in your room. And of course, you will know that your lanyards are actually rented. So they're lanyards as a service. And we'd like to have them back when you're done, after the 2 days, if you will, to make sure that we can wash them and reuse them as well. So we promise to measure all of this throughout the 2.5 days. And we will be sending you an email sometime in the middle of May so that we know how we've done, and we appreciate everything that you've done to support that.
We will be putting out a summary report from the event, which everybody will have access to, and that will include some of the impact analysis. We're also interested in what impact this event will have for you. So please share with us what results you get. Do you make new partners? Do you get some new investment? What are some of the impacts you've had? And we're also working with Tourism Montreal on an impact assessment for how this event can have the most benefits for the City of Montreal, Province of Quebec, and across Canada. So thanks for participating. The venue, as was mentioned at the Fairmont here, we have the whole second floor, so all the breakout rooms on the second floor, meeting spaces, coffee and lunch will be served on this floor. There is some separate meeting rooms downstairs for the Canada Plastics Pack today in the Centre-Ville room, and also our Agora room, which is the Parcs networking lounge, where you can book tables through the Swap Card app if you would like one-on-one one-on-one meetings or small group meetings, you can do that directly through the app. There's a number of meeting tables down there. We also, on the mezzanine floor, have the IKEA lounge where there's space for networking and a great sort of setup thanks to IKEA. So happy to let you explore the floor. We have 35 exhibitors. We have the Quebec Pavilion, as mentioned. And we're also conscious that we're hosting this event in the Fairmont, which is currently in the process of renegotiating its collective agreement with the union. We're apologize for any inconvenience if that may cause any for you, but definitely appreciate your understanding given the current situation. We have been getting great service from the Fairmont so far, and I expect this event to run very smoothly. Just wanted to mention the Swap Card app. So hopefully many of you have already had a chance to download this, update your profiles, maybe start to see who's there, check out the agenda, add sessions to your calendar, check out our sponsors, and also see who's here in terms of speakers and attendees. You can reach out to people directly there. As I mentioned, you could add sessions to your calendar, and you can also schedule meetings for people through the Swap Card app. Each session as well has its own profile. So when you click on that, there's sometimes resources stored under those sessions like PDFs or links. You can log into the Wordly software through that as well by clicking on the blue button, and you can also participate in the chat and the Q&A in the sessions. So essentially, when you log in, you can click on the session you're in, and it'll give you the option to either select chat or questions at the top, and there's even an option for polling for some sessions where there's some surveys may be run. But if you go to the questions section and during the question and answer opportunity, you can put your questions in to the into the question box, and then people can vote them up with a thumbs up, and that will raise sort of the priority for those questions for the moderators and for the panel or presenters or speakers to respond to. So if you haven't downloaded the app already, please do. And for those that have it, we might just do a quick little exercise to make sure you get comfortable with navigating through the app. So if you just bring up Swap Card quickly, and navigate to the opening plenary session, which is in the agenda on day one. What I'm going to ask you to do is find that questions box, and in the questions box, add one word that in your mind describes the circular economy. So just one word, put it in the questions box, and then have a look what other people submit in the question box and vote up the ones that you like the most. Just to give you a little test trying that out, and we'll see if we can bring that up on the screen in real time, if possible. And we have people that you'll probably see around the site wearing shirts, green and white and black shirts that say Altitude C. That's our fantastic logistics and event and AV company we're working with for this event. They are there to answer any technical questions you have. We also have a number of volunteers around the floor, which you'll see with wearing orange lanyards. They can be asked any questions, and there's an information desk in the middle of the room there as well. Hopefully the app works well for you and gets you an opportunity to connect with some new people. Last thing from my side is on social media. We invite you to sort of tag this event, tag posts, share photos, share information that you've gained, and you can tag it with hashtag CCES 2025 or SCES 2025. And don't be confused with the similar hashtag that's circulating on social media right now for the Carbon Capture and Storage Summit happening in the UK. And that's it for us for this morning, just for the opening plenary. Thank you very much for joining us here again. We hope you have the best event over the next couple of days. Let us know if there's anything that Joanne and I can do to help make your event even better, your summit even better. And we would like to start off by thanking also Circular Materials and Eco-Entreprise Québec for our coffee break, which we have now for the next 45 minutes before the event next sessions kick off. Thank you.